Should parents be required to pay for their children's college education? That is a debate taking place right now in Camden County, where a 21-year-old New Jersey girl is suing her parents in family court, asking a judge to force them to pay for her tuition. Those parents are speaking only with Action News investigative reporter Wendy Saltzman tonight about this case and their relationship with their estranged daughter.
Jim, the parents are divorced and say their daughter hasn't spoken with either of them for almost 2 years since she left home. And they're shocked a judge says they better plan to pay up. The deadline is tonight for them to shell out $16,000 for her to get an education out of state across the bridge here at Temple University. But speaking with her attorney, there's another twist to this saga. It's a court battle being waged behind the doors of the Camden County Hall of Justice. 21-year-old Caitlin Ritchie suing her biological parents.
What child does this? It's insane.
The fight for money to pay for out-of-state tuition at Temple has turned into a downright dirty war of words.
Caitlin's a spoiled brat. And that was the nicest thing any of them have ever said about Caitlin.
Caitlin's parents, Maura and Michael, were young loves. Their marriage only lasted 2.5 years, but the two say they amicably parented to give their daughter the best life they could.
She comes from two loving families, and she was given what she wanted when she was growing up.
Caitlin's parents described their daughter as a typical rebellious teen.
Instead of following our rules, she decided that she was going to leave her mother's house where she was living and move in with her grandparents.
And that's where the trouble started.
Caitlin did not voluntarily leave the home. She was thrown out by her mother.
And the relationship crumbled.
She hasn't contacted either of us on Mother's Day or Father's Day or on our birthdays.
I think she just wants money. She wants us to pay for her education. She feels that this is owed to her.
Caitlin turned to attorney Andrew Rochester to represent her in the lawsuit. He spoke with us on Caitlin's behalf.
Caitlin really is a good girl. I mean, she is the sweetest, nicest girl. All she wants is to go to college.
And he paints a very different picture of the family's dynamic.
They questioned her morality. They accused her of awful, awful things.
Caitlin's parents joined together and filed a motion to emancipate their estranged adult daughter. But on the Friday before Mother's Day, Mara says the court papers arrived. She was suing them.
Did I ever expect for my daughter to sue me? No, of course not. It's heartbreaking.
A judge turning to a New Jersey legal precedent known as Newberg says divorced parents may be required to contribute to their children's education, no matter the children's age. The judge ruled in Caitlin's case her parents have to pay about $16,000 this year.
The law in New Jersey is so clear. It's cut and dry. I mean, the law says parents are supposed to contribute to their children's post-secondary educational expenses.
Mara and Michael say they were willing to pay for her education in-state, in New Jersey, and if she followed the rules and lived at home.
It's just unbelievable. I don't think there's any person, there's not one adult or parent that I've spoken to and told this to who can imagine that this can happen to them.
But Caitlin, who they say won't reply to their messages, applied to Temple University out of state. And the only time they say they've seen her in the last 2 years is in a courtroom.
I spend a lot of time looking at her, looking over at her to try to get eye contact with her, and she won't look. All you want to do is just you grab her and kind of just shake her and just look at her and tell her you love her and just say, you know, we can work this out.
Caitlin's parents say they aren't paying a dime until their daughter reestablishes a relationship with them, and they plan to appeal the judge's decision. It's interesting to note her paternal grandparents, who she is living with, were the ones who hired an attorney to sue their own son.
It's a legal issue, it's an emotional issue, it's a domestic issue, it's very complicated.
And it's very sad, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you, Wendy. Well, even before